Hello everyone and welcome to a Pike and Shot Medieval 2 1v1. So, Pike and Shot, if you don't know what that is, it's basically I guess an intersecting point between the early modern, Pike and Shot is early modern, but it's basically the early modern stages within history, which is basically when you start having professionalized armies, as well as like the introduction of gunpowder start to come into play. So for about a little over 100 years, I would say about 150 years, this was kind of the dominant way people fought. But anyway, let's go ahead and go into the factions and such. I am playing as France, and my opponent is playing as the Holy Roman Empire. He is Shazer. Very, very nice Germans. So I think the rules for this were you couldn't bring any missile. Oh, we already got some artillery fire going in here. Oof. There's that cannonball there. That's at half speed currently. But yeah, the rules I think were you could only bring, I think it might have been 6 cavalry, and you couldn't bring horse archers unless they were gunpowder based horse archers. You could only bring gunpowder units and halberdiers and pikemen and gunpowder themed units, obviously. So that was kind of it. So let's take a look at the Germans here. So you got some Teutonic Knights, very deadly cavalry, probably pretty much the best in the game, really. He's got some pikemen, just Landsknechts, very standard pikemen for the Germans. Halberd militia, which I don't know why it just doesn't go with pike militia. They are significantly cheaper, and they really perform about the same. And Halberd's militia kind of have the two-handed glitch. So, but I don't know. He does actually have some pike. This is actually might have been why he didn't bring 2 pike militia, but he also brought 4 arquebusiers, which and also you weren't allowed to bring musketeers because I believe that you if you weren't bringing musketeers, you were kind of already screwed. So I just kind of banned them, so you can only bring arquebusiers, and that would also make combat a lot more interesting because it would be more close up. And for me, I brought my cavalry. I brought lancers. Now you might hold on here, Steve. Like hold on. I thought you said last Medieval 2 video. Let's also play it. I thought you said the last Medieval 2 video. Lancers suck. They don't do what they're worth their money. I thought you said always bring noble knights or chivalric knights. And yes, for normal games, I would say yes. Never bring lancers. However, for these pike and shot games, I think I can test, okay, that bringing stuff like Gothic knights and lancers are actually a better form, because lancers will beat chivalric knights. Or same thing with Gothic knights, and they will beat Imperial Knights and such. However, they don't have a shield, which makes them ridiculously vulnerable to missiles. Despite the fact they're wearing all that armor. That's just how Medieval 2 works. And that's kind of my theory. So in my opinion, because you're all using guns ignore shields. There is no point in bringing stuff like this. So in these kinds of circumstances, I would say lancers are a good option. They're still pretty expensive, but for my build, I was able to afford them. I also brought 4 pieces of artillery. That is 8 guns, which is insane. So looking back, I don't know why I brought 8 guns. I really should have brought maybe 2 or maybe even 3, but 2 or like 1 or 2. Look, nowadays I like bringing just 1 or 2, but 4 guns. But then again, I did fight this like practically a year ago. I just remember Medieval 2 and so the epic replays I have. I kind of want to share it with you guys. So it looks like over here we get again the Emperor. He only brings 1 artillery piece, which is very, very unfortunate. I do believe we are playing on the same map as we actually played last time. I just like this map. It's a little foggy, it's a little rainy, which is nice. I like this map. This is probably one of my favorite maps, if not my personal favorite map. It's just nice. It's kind of an uphill battle for this team. However, again, we actually have some Reiters here from the Germans here. This is also another one of my most favorite looking units in the whole game. That late style armor looks amazing. You get those pistols, badass. That's all I have to say. Lancers, again, another one of my personal favorites. You get the Swiss pikemen here. I do believe Swiss pikemen are pretty much the best pikemen in the game. Now, usually you would want to like double layer your pikemen, like do the halt attack. But in this scenario, the tactic I'm using is 2 units of gunners for every 1 unit of pikemen. So a little bit of a Gustavus Adolphus inspiration there. But that was kind of my tactic I like to use, because I would just overwhelm the enemy with firepower, and then by the time we get to my lines, his forces would be so devastating, especially with French lancers. Again, Normally, Lancers is not something you want to bring, but in the pike and shot sense, I think they are worth it. Especially with my heavy cavalry, they could just wipe them out. So that was kind of my idea. So if you look at my kind of forces here, I kind of deployed them in 4 groups. Basically, each group is 2 arquebusiers and 1 Swiss pikeman. As you can see, I have some serpentines here, which are going to open fire upon his cavalry, which kind of in a bit of a column here. Already doing some casualties here, light casualties, but casualties nonetheless. Yeah, see, killed about 6 so far. But then get just some light action. So if you look at my kind of forces, yeah, you could argue I am hill camping, which I kind of am, but I almost really have no, I guess. Okay, if I really was going to be hill camping, I would have been pushing up to, like, here. Okay, at this point. This would be proper hill camping, okay, because that way I wouldn't give them, like, an option. But I really had no choice to. I mean, I could, like, march down, but that, I don't know. But then again, this was about a year ago. So, personally, I hate hill camping. I would never hill camp, but this was about a year ago, so I guess I kind of partially am. But I don't know. I feel like I really had no choice to. Got some of the German Teutonic Knights over here on the left flank forming up, as well as some Reiters. Now, Lancers, I actually still won't. I still don't think they will actually win against Teutonic Knights, despite the fact they will. I do believe they will beat Chivalric Knights. It's just that, again, they're really overpriced. I don't think they'll actually beat Teutonic Knights. And right over here, have some Teutonic Knights moving up. What are they going to do here? I'm going to open fire with my arquebusiers, doing some casualties, but they are going to charge into my arquebusiers. I'm going to run them out of there, and this is, I think, the main weakness of the 2 arquebusiers for every 1 pikeman tactic. I am going to send up my Lancer unit here. They do end up breaking these arquebusiers, doing some pretty significant casualties. I do get this unit out of here unharmed, but this unit does break, so that's a bit of a shame. Again, that's just one of the, I guess, the weaknesses of this tactic. I am going to pursue him. My Lancers are going to catch up to his, I guess his, what do you call them? Reiters, yes. I'm going to try and pursue him into his Teutonic Knights here, which don't really manage to get their charge off, so I do think that would actually be a winning fight with my Lancers. However, with these Reiters here, that most likely is not. So, oh no, and my, man, to this day, I just hate the way gunners act in this game. But yeah, he actually ended up charging into some of my arquebusiers over here. I was not paying attention, I do believe, so killing many men. So already not very good on my part, not very good management. I do have this these guns here. He's going to charge into the flank of these arquebusiers. Just not very good micromanagement on my part. My Lancers are winning this fight. I do believe. I think they are winning this fight, but especially with these Lancers coming in, they will certainly be shredding apart these Teutonic Knights. He does have these Teutonic Knights. I'm still not paying attention. It's not very good play on my part. I really should be pushing up these pikemen, which I'm not doing currently for some bizarre reason. I really should be pushing them up right now. But with these Lancers here, he's going to charge them into the rear, which I really should be, I think, pulling those guys out. And then I really should be pushing up these pikemen. I do not know what I'm doing here. He has his general's bodyguard. I don't know if this has a... This does have his general in the unit. These Lancers break. I'm pretty sure it's because of the gunpowder penalties these Reiters do inflict upon my men. But these units still staying in the fight. So not very good upon me. Just as his general here. So I finally have to remove my pikemen. I really should have been doing that like at least 3 minutes ago. I do have my guns, which I do believe are just... I think that they are actually idle at the moment. And God, that is really brutal. And again, I hate the way arquebusiers and gunners act. They don't... It's not like an arc. It's like a 360 circle. So they have to form up like this if they want to shoot at me. And as you can see, it's actually allowing his guns to inflict some pretty significant casualties onto my men. I do start moving up, and I actually do open... Oh, man. I wish I could catch that guy.
Our men have slain the enemy.
Now and the cavalry action on the right here. He does seem to have broken my men, but I do seem to have killed his general. I'm not sure if my pikemen or my gunners did kill his... I actually don't remember that. I didn't think I killed his general in this. This is going to be new for me, too. I haven't seen this in a long time. I finally decided to move my pikemen, but too little too late. I basically just lost units of Lancers. I did inflict some casualties upon his men, but it's just not enough. At the moment, these arquebusiers are out again. I do have some of the remnants of my Lancers returning. But yes, on the left flank here, I do end up actually pushing in my arquebusiers, and they actually inflicted casualties while I was not paying attention, so they had to retreat. And that was a pretty big win for me. They're under artillery fire. And again, I don't know why I decided to bring 8 guns. I really should have 4 units, but in total it's 8 guns. I really feel like I should have brought just 4 or 2 or maybe even 6. So that's good on the left flank there. I am certainly winning. He's going to charge with his knights into the backs of my arquebusiers, but my pikemen were repelling him, so going to inflict very minor casualties there with the remnants of my lancers here, as well as my general's bodyguard. We did kill his general, so maybe that cavalry engagement wasn't actually too bad after all. He was actually going to charge some of his men in here, directly into my pikemen, so he's actually going to pull them out really quickly. They actually, so quickly they didn't even really lose any men there, so it actually might have been worth it in the end there. Very interesting. But again, my pikemen are kind of repelling his cavalry, but these reiters are being a pain in my side. Pain in the ass is really what I should be saying. But these reiters are just constantly pouring fire into my pikemen, which is not going to be good. And I've lost so many arquebusiers over here. I really feel like I should be retreating at this point, but behind this flank, and allow my my guns, which really I feel like should be, instead of shooting at his main force, I really should be turning. I do actually charge my lancers into his reiters, which don't kill many, they just kind of clip them. It isn't really doing much. I think it's just a small lancer unit, so I do believe I pretty much just set them just to distract them from my infantry. I see my arquebusiers forming up again. They like turn in these really awkward angles. Probably should be pulling this unit back here. Again, these Teutonic Knights, again, ridiculously brutal. Even against Lancers, again, like, Lancers are an overpriced unit, but, well, in this case, it doesn't matter, because they're all firearms, but, I see moving up my pikemen here. I might get a little caught, actually kind of slips away. I see my general's bodyguard here. I'm just going to charge into some of the men here, and actually going to catch some of my Lancers off guard. But with my pikemen here in support, I don't think this is going to be very good. Even he did kind of outflank them, but because of this, the way units act in this game, I think it's still not really going to be a good fight for him. Again, oh man, charging directly the Swiss infantry here. But with my general's bodyguard, I should be able to repel his men, and again, they're starting to break. Oh man. Swiss pikemen, they are not breaking, but I think I decided to like reform them in some way. They are actually repelling their attacks, which is great. Let's take a look on... Actually, not much action here in the center if we look at the map. Just some light bombardment. Not killing many men at all, really. Yeah, these guys lost like 16. Oh, make that 20. And these guys just lost a few. I think that was actually from a cavalry charge. But yeah, not very good micromanagement on my part. As I do have my general's bodyguard and lancers, which have charged in with my pikemen just kind of chasing a few of them down. And yes, his reiters are still mostly unharmed. They're going to start running up to them. I pretty much lost all my gunners at this point in time. So there's really no way I can repel these guys without... and he actually caught my Swiss infantry really off guard. Again, pretty much... I think they do break this unit. Again, not much real action on this flank over here. He has some more Teutonic Knights. My gunners are shooting into their flanks, dealing some casualties, but pretty light. Overall, these Swiss pikemen, again, they have pretty high morale, especially for pikemen. They are the Swiss infantry. At this point, my right flank is almost completely decimated just from his cavalry alone, which is not good. I do believe, yes, I have to protect this artillery piece. It's not, again, I don't know why I brought so many guns. I feel like at this point I really should have been bringing, I really also should have been targeting his cavalry, not his infantry. But again, like, I might not have been paying attention. Who knows? At this point, they've pretty much broken my entire right flank. He's actually setting up some infantry as a warrior. They are marching up. I do have this this Lancer unit. Again, I feel like I probably shouldn't have brought Lancers considering how poorly they already performed, especially against the Teutonic Knights. I do start shifting this kind of reserve, I guess, battalion, division, company. I don't know. I think it's really a battalion, but again, he does get into the flanks of my guns here with his general's bodyguard, which does not possess his general anymore. Man, I really should have brought Chivalric Knights or Noble Knights, not Lancers. I don't think that theory might... I don't know. I don't really know. I guess looking back, I might not work, but then again, I haven't seen this in like a year or so. Long time. Never again is how running them in, actually. They're actually already winded. Might not have been the greatest decisions, but yeah, they're going to kill my artillery crews, my Lancers, and my General's bodyguard. I do march up these guys in reserve. At this point, I'm getting pretty scared of his men, which could totally charge into them, but with my pikemen here, marching up. Again, man, I really should be protecting them, and because units they fire so jankily in this game, basically. They fire so jankily. They don't just fire at will, because it's not a thing. Man, I really should have brought much better cavalry. Again, I probably shouldn't have brought those lancers. They are going to deal some pretty significant casualties, and these pikemen, I mean, I really should be doing right now. Ah, man. Again, my cavalry play is just not the best right now. And because these units have to, like, turn at, like, a horizontal angle facing the artillery, which is quite annoying. At this moment, I do believe I kind of make them ready to fight against his Howard militia, which I do believe will be going up against them. I know these arquebusiers, which could start firing into his men. You know, my lancers break already. My general's bodyguard. I have lost so many men. It is not looking good at all. These guys have already lost half their forces. Probably dealing like what is that, like 3 casualties in the process? Not very good. I am shooting into his reiters with these arquebusiers. He's actually charging them into the rear of my Swiss pikemen, but Swiss pikemen are pretty strong, so I don't think they're going to break to that, especially with his arquebusier support. Oh, but he is charging, but they're very tired though, so they might not actually win this fight, despite the fact that they are very tired, into the rears of my Swiss pikemen. I really should be pulling back these men. I really should be. But then again, I don't think I had as much tactical prowess, because I didn't really play all that much. I didn't really play Napoleon or Empire at this point. I didn't have as much tactical prowess. And I really should be pulling back, again, with the super stupid angles that the gunners do. Hate the way they act in this game. They did kill a few of them, but Grenade back here, not looking so good. I actually, despite all that, I still prevail. The Swiss pikemen are pretty much some of the best infantry in the game. That's just the Swiss for you. I do have I think this is my final unit of cavalry, aside from my general, who is going to pursue his men. And you have these guys, which broke them, pretty much killed the entire unit. So extremely poor play there on my part. Really should have been running them back. Again, oh my god, already killing that many. That's just, the Teutonic Knights are just ridiculous in this game. The charge is like 50 million or something like that. Already killing that many. Not looking very good. I really should be pulling back these men, but I'm not. Again, my final unit of cavalry going to charge into these Teutonic Knights. These guys will win easily. Especially against a unit that's not only tired, but is also significantly outnumbered. So yeah, I've lost so many gunners just due to poor cavalry play on my part. Not very good. And these reiters just kind of still sitting here, just shooting into me. And these regrouped arquebusiers, which will start firing into the reiters. Take like ages to shoot, sadly. This is an old game. Also, if you're wondering why the graphics look much better than the Medieval 2, I am using a program called Reshade, which does help with that. So far, not looking very good for me. I mean, if we take a look at his main forces here, I mean his forces they're practically untouched. Again, they're practically untouched. I've practically done almost nothing to them. I mean, just some light bombardments. This is not looking good for me whatsoever. Whatsoever. I am finally deciding to pull back my arquebusiers and these Swiss pikemen here. And this Lancer unit is pretty much my only real cavalry force. It's already lost so many of its men, holding off the extremely, extremely elite Teutonic Knights of the Germans. Yeah. I do think I still believe in that theory. I still do think Lancers are a little bit more of a... They're not as useless as they are in vanilla, because, again, everyone's using guns, so there's no point in possessing a shield in Medieval 2 terms. And obviously, like... And, you know, so you don't have to worry about that. And they will beat, like, something like Chivalric Knights. But against Teutonic Knights are just so ridiculously elite. It just doesn't even matter. I do believe they are the best cavalry unit in the game. I'm kind of merging the remnants of my reserve force and the right force here. To kind of make some sort of a right flank force. And this left flank, again, because of the stupid way gunners act in this mod, really should be facing this. But this left flank force is... yes. Oh, he actually made a little cavalry charge over here, too. Pikemen, I guess we never saw. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, this left flank is looking amazing for me, because I basically just killed tons of his cavalry at the cost of nothing, but at the same time, he basically wiped out my entire right flank at the cost of, yeah, most of his cavalry, but he also killed, like, a lot of my infantry and most of my cavalry as well. I'm not actually sure how he is on the cavalry side of things. I'm not sure if all of it's broken or if he still actually has some left. It's really hard to say. Again, my guns are just kind of shredding his men as they advance. Again, this is kind of some of the artillery fire casualties. You can kind of see that I've just been constantly bombarding his men. So they're not necessarily completely untouched, just that compared to, I think, what the casualties... I mean, if you look at the percentage here, he killed more than half of mine. I've only killed, like, what, about a little over a fourth. So not looking very good. I do think he brought more men than me, so that might have something to do with it, but then again. So again, this is just kind of the little casualties we've gone through bombardment. I really should be looking at this left flank, but then again, I'm probably more paying attention to moving his forces and not my own. But then I do have these guns, which will just continue to pour fire into them, dealing casualties over time. And he has his own guns, which he is moving them currently. He does have some. I believe I'm shooting at some of these halberd militia, which are very, very tired. They've been kind of just, man, this is a pretty big massacre here, especially for my forces. But granted, cavalry is really important, so I'm actually not really seeing much of his cavalry, like looking back right now. And considering I have a cavalry unit of 58 men, and I'm not really seeing any of his. I think he pretty much lost all of his cavalry in those engagements. I think he just dedicated so much. It might actually come back to bite him. We have this little force he's trying to keep in the woods. I'm just kind of firing to his men. Not the best hits, though. Artillery units don't have, like, different accuracies in this, and I believe Medieval 2, I believe. I think the only difference is, like, the high period bombards. He's running up his men. The stamina doesn't necessarily matter as much in Medieval 2 as it does in something like NTW 3. And another thing, he's running up his arc... Okay, no. I think they're in loose formation, which is interesting because in loose... Oh, yes, my men are turning to face his gunners as well. The thing about loose formation for gunners is that it doesn't really work. Yeah, it limits casualties, but your firepower is significantly limited because you basically have to move in ranks of 3. And they don't fire as quickly either, so you really should be moving them in these solid ranks, like especially in like ranks of 2, already breaking his men. They haven't even gotten a volley off. This is the only one that's gotten a volley. And yeah, I will be taking more casualties for volley, but the volleys aren't as big, number one. And they also just overall, yeah. So again, he's running up his Landskadeks here. I have my Swiss pikemen here, which I've taken some light bombardment, as well as probably from the little cavalry charge that I guess we did not end up seeing. I really should be, I do these artillery hits, doing some casualties as we go. Really should be running these men out of here. Yeah. Ooh, it's me, close one though. I do think I send these, yeah, I do believe I send them up to engage the enemy. They are significantly outnumbered though. Especially with these lancers here, they don't really want to be exposing their flanks. Yeah, because I think this is the way we're acting right now. Yeah, and he is kind of putting them in a little pike formation there, which... They're not in the pike formation, though. They're not actually fighting in formation. They're just kind of in the little empty, where they aren't actually using their spears. They're just using their fists. So this is actually no threat to me, fighting them. I really should be charging these guys. Oh, they actually repel these Landskadeks, this volley from the arquebusiers. Very interesting. And again, these guys are just kind of holding off the Landskadeks. So pikemen are pretty elite, so they actually will be able to hold them off for a little bit, as you can see from the casualties. And again, because of the stupid way handgunners act in this game, they actually do break these guys. But these guys have they're winded, and they've just been running in there. And they're really actually not, without their pikes, they're really not actually that much different in melee compared to arquebusiers. That's the thing. Especially with my my lancers here coming around, which I could easily rear charge these guys, which I'm not doing currently. Again, he does have some men in the center pushing up along with some pike militia, which again are not really in the formation mode. Ah, that's not good. I really should be pulling these guys back. Though I might be... Man. I don't know what I'm doing here. Again, this is new for me also, so if you're like wondering what I'm doing, I'm also going to be wondering what I'm doing. They're in the formation. I really should be getting them out of there. I think I was pursuing these guys, but I really got to get out of there. That's pretty much my only cavalry unit there. I do not know what I'm doing here. Let me take a look on the left here. They have broken some of these arquebusiers. I am retreating these arquebusiers as well as the serpentine. I do believe he eventually broke this serpentine. I still have my general's bodyguard. The serpentine crew, I actually had to... Yes, they actually had to forcefully abandon this serpentine here. And I still have these pretty healthy gunners. And it seems like, to his doctrine, he's putting a lot of his arquebusiers in the loose formation, which is definitely not the most efficient way of using your arquebusiers. He does have this can... There's these two guns here, serpentines, which he will move on to this little ridge here. So according to his doctrine, I do believe I will dominate firepower. I do have more units overall as well. These 3 units. He only has 2, and with that like weird loose formation. I do have the serpentine. This will be incredibly useful. I could set it up here, perhaps. Again, I do have my lancers, which I did finally pull out of that engagement, non-favorable engagement. But so far, again, like he's killed 65% of my men. I've killed 44, so not looking very good. Of a standoff here. That right flank was just a debacle. I don't even know what that was. It was really poor management on my side. Very much a massacre. He basically didn't even use anything except for like some infantry, 2 units of infantry, and all his cav. But then again, that's kind of the key word. He used all his cav, and because of that consequence, he basically, to me, it doesn't seem like he has any cavalry at all, which is really confusing. I think he lost pretty much all of it. I thought he had like a unit of reiters or something. He has some lance cadets, which he's just pursuing this unit of arquebusiers. He's just, I mean, this is like a not in formational mode either. I really could be sending this lancer unit over here and just charging into their flank because they're not in the formation mode. Or my general even. I mean, they're not. They're also exhausted. Very tired. Not exhausted, but still. He has set up his guns onto this little ridge or hill here, which will be bombarding my forces. I think I should set up my guns here and then start bombarding his, preferably his pike militia. And over here we have some, oh yes, the remnants of that Swiss pikeman unit still fighting against the German menace. The Swiss, I do think, are Germans, so it doesn't make any sense, but... Again, so they are also in the formational mode, so they will actually be fighting significantly better. But because they're surrounded, they will lose that formational mode. Again, Swiss infantry, very elite. Despite being completely surrounded and only having significantly outnumbered. He's moved up his guns, but again, they're in loose formation, which is just not an efficient way for gunners to fight, so my men will be breaking his gunners very quickly, doing a lot of casualties. And because of their increased ranks, it really might not be actually much more effective, because guns are pretty accurate in this game. Again, Medieval 2 logic, but it might actually even make the casualties deal that much less. On poor arquebusier getting killed by cannon shot. Ooh, 2 more going away. Let's see over here if... Yes, I do actually charge my lancers, which do end up... Oh, no, but they actually broke. I think they caught up to them. Which sucks. I do end up charging them in. I lost a single lancer, killed a few. But yeah. They did actually chase them off into the red line, the magical red line. Ends lives. Voice crack there a little. We'll be retreating them back. I do have my guns, which are firing to his men. Killing a few there. some Lance Cadets on the right flank here, which I do have some arquebusiers that will hopefully repel. He just has his guns, but I have an equal amount of guns. And these artillery crews, which I could actually reclaim these guns here. Get this little Lance Cadet unit in the back here. Yeah, not very good for the Lance Cadet. I mean, they're exhausted. 111 men. Okay, with my cavalry here. I think he lost all his cavalry. Yeah, it was pretty much a disaster for my right flank, but he lost all his cavalry in the process. I might have been actually conservative, which I'm usually not the most conservative of players, but I guess I might have been conservative back then, and actually might have been so conservative that I actually ended up practically obliterating his entire cavalry force. And cavalry is really, really, really good in this game, and trust me when I say that if you're not a avid Medieval 2 player. Granted, I haven't played this game in like I guess consistently in like a year, but still. And his guns firing into my men. My arquebusiers are pouring fire into his Lance Cadets, causing a significant amount of casualties there too. Pretty brutal. Again, missiles are just kind of ridiculous in this game, but still. Oh, God, this bombardment there. Doing some casualties. Forces. Pretty brutal. Still have a relatively healthy unit of Swiss pikemen. This one's not so healthy, but they're both fresh. Practically used no stamina. These men are winded. Is setting up some gunners here, but again, he's putting them in loose formation, which is just
Lord
not.
have mercy. We have lost half of our men.
I think we've lost half our men quite a while ago. We've actually lost 70%, but okay. But yes, again, using them in loose formation, which is just not necessarily the most effective way to use them. So he will start just, again, because his firepower is significantly limited, and actually because there's more ranks and guns are really accurate in this game, again, Medieval 2 logic, it's actually just pretty much in almost every way, shape, and form worse. They might actually win this fight, though, just because they're just genuinely that outnumbered. Yeah, they're like outnumbered almost 2 to 1. It's back, and we have... I heard some charge horns, but I don't know where that's coming from. And these Lance Cadets in the back here, which were pursuing them. Took quite a few casualties from my cavalry, though. I think it was right here. Was the point of contact. Pretty brutal. Man, there's so many French. I feel like, and looking back, I could have managed this like 20 times better, but I turned my guns around the Lance Cadets. Counter battery fire. Or no, I think he's trying to snipe my general. Bit of a cowardly move there, but nonetheless, killing 2 there. Killing about 6 with that shot as well. It's pretty nice. Could actually break them. They are wavering from the guns. Ooh, they could break. They could break. I could always rear charge him too. If he decides to engage my guns. Again with the fire. Again, breaking, I think, oh, where is his gunners? Breaking his gunners, again, because of his doctrine. Because he just decides to put them in loose formation, not the normal mode, which he really should be doing. God, and these gunners, and so these gun crews. Going to fire once more into his men. Point blank shot, killing quite a few there. There we go.
The enemy is
they
badly
broke.
blotted. They have lost half their men.
66. So that gap is starting to kind of increase. Oh, look at this! Oh, they actually charged their Lance Cadets into my arquebusiers. However, that actually broke his men. In the process, okay, at this point he's going for a full-on charge with his pikemen here and his arquebusiers, actually breaking some of my arquebusiers. But against these Swiss pikemen, could be a substantial problem. Swiss pikemen will beat militias and arquebusiers any day. Swiss infantry, again, already breaking them. Gosh, already breaking them. I have my gunners in the back here, which I have retreated. And again, I have my own lancers here, which can also recharge them. At this point, it is not looking good. It's not looking good. It is not looking good at the moment. Sending in some of his own pike militia, actually in the formation this time. Pretty brutal pike fight. Very brutal. Chris Pikeman, Swiss infantry, obviously will prevail against just simple militia. Pike militia. They really aren't militia, because when it's like pike militia, it's like, in order to use like that kind of weapon, you need to fight in formation. If you can fight in a formation like that, you're definitely not militia, but just basic pikemen. Oh, and his cavalry, his final unit of cavalry, the Reiters, which have been kept in reserve, they are fresh. They've been resting for a while, charging into my arquebusiers. That almost certainly will break the arquebusiers. Losing men very rapidly. I send in my general's cavalry, personal cavalry unit. Where's my lancers? Where are my lancers? Did they break? I wish I could find my lancers. He still has men of his own. I have some pikemen here. Oh man, but these pikemen just pretty outnumbered here. They are elite, but they might actually prevail against landscapes which are winded. And then again, pretty brutal. They're not even using their pikes anymore, they're using their swords. He has some artillery crews, some gun crews. Again, his riders again charging into my men. I have my general's bodyguard, my own personal gun crews here. And charging into them, I really should be turning them and getting them in the rear here. Oh man, God, that just, you can see how absolutely brutal cavalry charges, and they completely wipe out units in seconds. Kind of ridiculous, but then again, it's just Medieval 2 logic for you. I have my arquebusiers, which have regrouped. I really should be charging my lancers. There are my lancers. There you go. But then these guys are just so fast. You have these arquebusiers here. Oh no, that actually broke my. Oh man, that actually could have been pretty bad there with my general. I have these lancers, these arquebusiers, the single gun crew. These Swiss pikemen, which I do believe will engage. They are fresh against winded pike, just simple pikemen, and lance cadets could actually be a little more of a problem. I mean, using their weapons, this is just how Medieval 2 pikemen work. A bit derpy, but still pretty close here. Very close match. Those Reiters are by far the biggest threat. They can just shoot and run into my back charge. Not much I can really do. Might even just end it faster than my cavalry too, so they might just have to wait till they run out of ammunition, which could be very, very brutal. Again, they actually ended up breaking the simple pikemen, but against the Swiss pikemen,
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
that gap is closing significantly faster. Just 13% of my forces remaining and 19% of his. And I will send my men to pursue them so they do not come back. Oh, but these arquebusiers. No, this could be absolutely brutal if they go down. This could be absolutely brutal. I mean, cavalry is ridiculously powerful. In this game, they do actually break those arquebusiers, and he has some of his own arquebusiers, which will charge. I mean, just not charge. Shoot into my flank consistently. I am pursuing his men so they do not come back, and I think that's proficiently pursued enough. They do actually break these guys, and it's kind of hard to tell if they'll come back. I do have my own Swiss pikemen, but with some of his gunners here, could be pretty bad. But then again, I do have my cavalry here, which will quickly dispatch these arquebusiers. They are exhausted too, and some fresh cavalry here. That'll pretty easily break the arquebusiers. My lancers trying to just catch at these riders, but they can just shoot on and on. There's just nothing I can do about it. Here's some of my pikemen. If these guys could return, that would be a miracle, because then I could just shoot, and there's not much you can really do. They do have pretty short range for being a missile cavalry as well. Actually charging his Reiters here, thinking he can take out the lane, which they actually managed to break them. They are exhausted though, so that was probably why. As we do dispatch his handgunners, I do pursue them. If I can find them. Yes, do pursue them, just make sure they do not return. At this point, it is just, I do believe it is just the Reiters, this broken unit, yeah, the Reiters, the Swiss pikemen here. I do believe that is it. I do believe that's it. This could actually be pretty brutal, because, I mean, if it's just Reiters, I mean, I don't have anything that can shoot back. So he can just shoot, constantly shoot into my Swiss pikemen, and these guys can never catch up to them. They are fresh, but they're wearing significantly more equipment. And I imagine these guys are faster horses, too. And they pretty much pursue my men to make sure none of them come back. Very brutal. Man, this is really, really close. This unit alone, I mean, you can just sit here and rest, and not much I can really do. See my pikeman over here. Now, where is my cavalry? Yes. Right over here. What is that? Oh my. This unit could be our miracle. This could be our saving grace. These serpentine gun crews could be our saving grace. We can actually significantly shoot, sufficiently, as I'm trying to say, sufficiently shoot at his men. As you can see, I'm protecting. Oh, excuse me, guys, that's my phone. Very unprofessional. Maybe putting that on Do Not Disturb. Anyway, this could be our saving grace. This serpentine gun crew, I mean, I don't know what my general is doing right now. I guess it was a little bit of mismanagement. If I could get these gun crews, I don't know which guns. I don't think it's these guns. I think they had, like, it might have been maybe like these guns, or maybe I actually don't know what guns they are. I brought so many, way too many, I personally think, but I don't know what guns I brought. I mean, any gun crew really would be sufficient enough. But yes, they are getting back over here. Man, I think it is these guns with these Swiss pikemen protecting them, and my general is not looking good for the Germans here, for Shazer. Just these Reiters. I mean, at this point, he might need to perhaps charge into, like, the flanks of the Swiss, but then again, they do have ridiculous admiral. It is not looking good for the Swiss. Let's speed up a little here to see the final results. Again, with my gun crews finally manning their cannons once more. They will be firing upon. Let's see. Just see a few shots. They will be firing upon the Reiters. There we go. Look at that. Killed a few there. He really has no choice. He has to move. He's kind of sitting here. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. Perhaps just trying to rest his men before the battle. The final decisive engagement. One of the best looking units in all of Medieval 2, in my opinion. Maybe. Oh man. Oh jeez, killing two more there. Wow. In my opinion, probably the best looking unit. Period. Maybe aside from Conquistadors. Mounted Conquistadors look pretty awesome as well. But anyway, definitely one of the best looking units in the game. Going in for one last epic charge. Oh, going a little bit of a flanking maneuver here. Perhaps maybe just trying to shoot my general? Who knows? Doing a little bit of flanking maneuver, just kind of... Perhaps just trying to run circles around my men so they cannot shoot my guns. Perhaps just trying to get an open angle upon my guns. I should be running these guys over here. Yeah, I think that's what he's trying to do, is just trying to get, like, run circles, literally run circles around my men. Trying to just use up as much ammunition as possible, not allowing my guns to fire upon his cavalry. Which might be doing, he might actually be able to catch some of my gun crews up off guard here. Killing quite a few. 4,
has been
but
kind
it
to us
doesn't
and
matter.
delivered us
It
victory.
doesn't matter.
It could easily have been us, slain and
Writers.
defeated on the field.
Very close, so they could actually still fire one gun. Exactly enough to fire one gun. Close to victory, I think it's a bit of an understatement. That was a ridiculously close victory. It was a very fun game, too. Again, very, there was a bit of a debacle on the right flank there at the beginning. But then again, he dedicated so much on the right flank, especially with that disaster on the left flank, which kind of allowed my men to just open fire upon his Teutonic Knights, killing many horsemen, which just kind of allowed Jim to send over. And he kind of dedicated so much, they ended up pretty much losing 90% of his cavalry. And I still had like a Lancer unit and my general's bodyguard, especially with him losing his general very early on in the game, because he sent him in very, very aggressively. Right, I think that is what inevitably allowed me to win this game. But again, ridiculously close. I don't know how that number went down. I guess I might have like re-rallied some units. That's kind of strange. Because I got about 1,400 kills, killed about 14, practically the exact same amount of enemies killed. He did bring more men to the field. Interesting how he loses more men despite the fact... Wait, that is really confusing. How do I kill 1,400, but he lost 1,800? Oh, wait, that's the prisoners taken. Never mind. I'm sorry, it's been so long since I played this game, but... Yeah, so he actually dealt no friendly fire at all there. And yeah, interesting. So I had about 483 men remaining there. He had about 410. Take a look at the units here. In terms of my casualties with this arquebus unit, 162. This Swiss pike, 227. Pretty crazy. This Serpentine doing 108. Artillery can be really brutal in this game, guys, okay? It can be really brutal. Just saying. Just that unit, I'm pretty sure that unit just got fired upon. It might have been the one that shot the cavalry. I don't actually know. Getting 108 there, 63. That unit I would not consider to be worth it. And, very, very nice. Very, very nice game there. I got these Swiss pikemen again. They dealt pretty good amount of casualties. Arquebusiers, some of them didn't do too well. A lot of them, some, I think really I would say the units that did the best here was this one. That unit did pretty good too. Lancers got a decent amount of kills. That one did not do too well. General, bodyguard, and that Lancer getting the most kills in terms of cavalry. Very, very epic game. Well, thank you all for watching. You're going to be sending me replays through my email in the description. And if you like the video, like the video. It only makes sense. Bye.